Howard Stern Show ends, and the wrap-up show begins. Welcome to the wrap-up show.
The wrap-up show.
A recap and behind-the-scenes look at the Stern Show. Call in
888-STERN-100.
The wrap-up show with John Hine and Gary Delabate. The wrap-up show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the wrap-up show. I'm John Hine, joined as always by Gary Delabate.
Hello, hello. Hey, John, is it cold outside or what?
I tell you, Gary.
Can you, okay, it's cold in New York, don't get me wrong. But are you sick of everybody's Facebook posts? Like, get over it. It's cold.
Well, I mean, we're pretty high up here in New York, and our windows are iced over, which is crazy. But yeah, but it's cold in a third of the country, you know?
How many posts have you seen, by the way, of somebody who took their kid out to the backyard with a cup of water and threw it in the air and it came down to snow?
What else do you do on a snow day?
I know, we're so shocked by that.
They closed a lot of schools, you know. Or
in Chicago.
Here they delayed openings because it was cold. You know, everything's iced over, but we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about the Howard Stern Show. Hour going on the board. Steve taking the calls, 888-STERN-100, 888-783-7610. Call us to talk about whatever Howard talked about. Sal Governale's health regimen was a major topic, and Sal's going to drop by later. We'll talk about that.
We have to talk about when Sal comes in. When Sal's on the air, you get a smile on your face that is enormous, and you turn around to me and you go, Sal never disappoints.
Ever. He never disappoints, ever. And again, I drive home with him. I commute with him. He is, to me, one of the most entertaining people you will ever meet, and he never fails to disappoint. You could put Sal on for 4 hours, and I'll listen to it. I just love to hear the guy talk. We also talked to Sal about the Wolf of Wall Street thing off the air before he went in today. So I'm going to talk to him a little about that on the air, because his perspective is unique. He was in that part of world, and that movie is great if you haven't seen it.
But he wasn't. Here's the funny thing. Sal worked on Wall Street, and he was a big Wall Street broker. He knew some people that were part of that and might have accidentally worked for one of those guys for a minute, but that's not who he is.
Yeah, he came in right after that all came down, but if he was in that original group, oh my God, I can only imagine the stuff that
he's very defensive when you question his ability as a stockbroker. He gets very upset. He makes it very clear that he's got not one blemish on his record forever. Because I remember when I saw the boiler room, I go, Sal, that was you, right? He's like, absolutely not. But then he said, I'd be curious if there's stockbrokers out there that worked at like Lehman Brothers or some of the bigger firms. Did you read from a script? Like when you work at Lehman Brothers, do you read from a script?
Well, Sal talked a little bit about working off of a script.
Well, he said everybody does.
Yeah,
but I don't know that.
I think you have to, but I think that job is really tailor-made for him because he's great on the phone. He's a great bullshit artist, and he did very well at it. So we'll get him down here and get his 2 cents. We'll also talk about the hatred for social media, or is it the hatred for Gary that Howard had today? You took a lot of flack for the different contest giveaways. I'm
the first, person Howard sees in the morning, and I'm the person who has to explain everything to him. So if he doesn't like anything, listen, I was glad I didn't get yelled at for the microphone problem today.
Yeah, that was Scott. We'll talk about that, too. Howard was wondering about how college football players, why they can't speak English. He was referring to, of course, Jameson Winston, who with Florida State, who won the national championship last night. Steven Tyler will be singing at the birthday show, which is an exciting announcement.
Among many others.
Yes. The list too long to mention here, or actually too secret. We're not going to talk about that. But at the end of the show, the dress code came up, and Howard, it seemed, wanted to go black tie. Robin was okay with it, but then Howard hedged a little bit because he wants everybody to be comfortable. But if you had your druthers, how would you have everybody dress for this?
I want everyone to dress however they want. Everyone's got, for the people who are working on the show, have to be comfortable that night. I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks. I have a tuxedo. I've tried it on in 15 years. I don't even know if it fits anymore. I don't know that I really feel like going to rent a tuxedo because I have a nice suit. So if the tuxedo fits and looks good, I'm going tuxedo. If not, I'm just going suit and tie.
Right. But you're working, performing, you're doing a lot that night.
Yeah, but you can still look good doing that.
Yeah, so we'll see where Howard comes down on that.
Benji, are you going to wear your formal platform shoes or your regular ones?
No, I'll definitely wear tall shoes, but a tux would be cool because that's just so simple, you know?
Yeah, it's
you don't
easy.
have to think about it a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on board for the tux as well. I don't know how everybody else feels. I guess we'll get everyone's take on it. Richard Christie apparently did pee on Wolfie's hand at the holiday party, but he had a good reason to do it.
In his mind, he did.
Well, do you think he had a good reason to do it?
I think stop is enough. I think peeing on a guy's hand is no matter how annoying somebody's being, I wouldn't do that.
But
I get it. I wouldn't do that. I would not pee on a guy's hand.
Okay. Sal, do you think Richard was...
Now, there's a guy who would pee on a girl's hand.
Yeah. Do you think Richard was
pee on your hand,
in the right there when he was peeing on Wolfie's hand when he was trying to interview him during the party?
Wolfie was bothering him, and, he did put the microphone by his penis. If there's a stream going out, somebody's going to get hit,
It sounded to me like a game of chicken, kind of like
somebody lost.
Yeah, no, it's like when I've like fucked around with guys and like started like an interview's gone to kiss them, they might kiss you back. When you stick your hand in the urinal under the penis, the guy might pee on you.
I agree.
And
you ever pee on somebody? Like just as a joke, like a college type of thing?
No. Like what do you mean? Like, let's all get together.
We used to play quarters in like motels back in the day, and the guy who passed out, we would wrap him up in the sheet like a mummy and pee all over him.
No, I never did that.
Was that your idea, or did someone introduce you to
mine
that?
and my buddies. Who's now a cop, so I don't...
Did you ever lose?
No, never.
No, that's why it was a good idea then, right?
Yeah. There was one guy who passed out. We peed all over him. We wrapped him up like a joint, in the sheet. And we peed all over him. My buddy goes, I got to take a shit. He squats over his head, and his balls are dangling by his face. And the guy wakes up, and he punched him. He just missed his balls. He grazed him, and my friend just went down. He tried to drop a log on his face.
Why don't sleep in hotel sheets.
No, by the way, as I said in the beginning of the show, he's the best. He's the best.
We did a contest many, many years ago at K-Rock. It was called the most outrageous video contest. It was like the early 90s. And it was $25,000. So I had to go through all these videos. And for some reason, it just, every guy wanted to shit on the video. So one of them was, whoever was our enemy at the time, and I can't remember who it was. It could have been Chevy Chase, could have been anybody. This guy got on a ladder and just shit on a picture of him. But then it was somebody else who was one of our enemies. And it was his frat guys. They're all in the frat house, and they're like, we hate him. He might have been like when we were at war at Bon Jovi, Bon Jovi, right. Bon Jovi. So all of a sudden, it's just this big jump cut. This guy squatting on all fours, and he had taken an enema, so he squirted all over a picture. I'm like, what is wrong with people?
Now, have you always been fascinated by pissing on people or being pissed on?
No, but when I saw my first piss porn, it was like the day Kennedy got shot. I'll never forget it. I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing. I couldn't believe it. And it came up on surprise. It was a European video. It was taking place in Italy, and they were in a sauna, and the guy just finished jacking off on her face, and she was sitting like on one of the wooden seats. And then he climbs up behind her and squats over her, and he just starts taking a leak, rinsing off the jizz. And I was like, super swing boner immediately. And it was just like one of the greatest moments in porn ever. And then from that moment forward, I realized by mistake that I really enjoyed that.
I wonder how people are wired, because I would think I would see that and it would be super soft on for me. I don't get excited by watching a man pee on another woman. It just doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do it for you. But Sal's said, we've talked about this before, if the woman is willing to let that happen, that's what turns him on, the vulnerability of it all.
Right. The fact that she's willing to go the extra mile, like to take some urine on the face, that's pretty wild
stuff. Is it a pretty equal titillation for you, a woman urinating or a man urinating?
The only time I liked a woman urinating, when a woman urinates in another girl's face, that's pretty cool. It's okay.
What about just simply a woman urinating?
Not at all. Nothing. Waste of time.
That seemed to be a pretty common. I mean, for a while, like that was the Penthouse's big thing.
I hate when you click piss porn and you'll get just a woman like peeing herself.
You need the target, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there was one girl who was able to pin her ankles behind her shoulders and pee right in her face. That was super hot. She was drinking it, spitting it up, everything that works.
Did you hit saved on that one? Right?
Oh yeah, that one's like pause and jerk, pause and jerk, pause and jerk.
Right.
But I don't. But lately, I've kind of like I'm not that big into piss porn anymore. It was a phase.
But still regular porn on a regular basis.
Oh, regular porn's always good. Ass to mouth's a good one. But yeah,
ATM for those of you out there.
I do a lot of old lady outside orgies is my newest thing.
What do you mean outside? Like
outside, like it has to be outside in the woods. I don't know, and it turns me on like crazy. It has to be outside like a camping trip. Like I have a German one. They're all camping out, and it's a bunch of old ladies and guys, and they're grilling hot dogs, and they're drinking beer. All of a sudden, the guy just takes out his cock, and the old lady starts blowing him, and he takes the champagne bottle, and he shoves it up her vagina, and then they pee all over each other. But something about it being outdoors with older people, I think I want to get as close to reality as possible.
Yeah, that could happen any day.
No.
Indoors is
It just
way
looks
out
less
there.
staged to you.
Exactly, less stage. When you see the typical leather couch and the blonde girl with the same makeup, these Barbie doll broads, and the guy comes out with a rock hard boner, it's just like, all right, been there, done that. But outdoors, barbecue, champagne, this is like a different setting. This seems like, it's realistic.
Only the best for you. Tom in Jersey, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, Tom.
Hey, I would like to, Gary, why wouldn't you go out and buy a new suit? Or I just can't get over the fact that, you got 15-year-old cucks, but a big event like this, and you're not even willing to go out and get something new.
I just said, hold on, Tom. I said I have an awesome suit. I have an awesome tailor-made suit. So I could wear the tux. I could go and rent the tux, but I'm most comfortable in this awesome, I have a tailor-made suit.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I think ideally, if everyone got dressed up, because it is a special event, that, not so formal like the Oscars, but more like, the Golden Globes or something, where it's,
so Tom, the suit I own will work?
Oh, good. Just nice solid tie or something, black tie, but keep it clean. I don't know.
Is that,
but anyway,
is that like cocktail attire? Is that like the official term for that?
All of those terms confuse me, quite honestly. Like when you say, Tom, when you say a solid tie, why does it have to be a solid tie?
Well, you see these guys with the bow ties, and it kind of looks too formal, but then they wear the black solid tie, and I think that kind of dresses it down, but it's still very formal without being, like Oscars. You don't have to look like George Clooney, but
that's not going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Well, and Sal, I love his whole. Sal is my absolute favorite.
Oh, thank you. You're my favorite too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
No, that's very nice of you.
No, we always talk about Sal, or the friends that goof around, and Sal's our, that's our code for he's the guy.
Somebody getting arrested. That's Sal.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. By the way, speaking of suits, I'm curious, Benji, do you have anything in mind? I'd love to know what you plan on wearing.
Gary brought it up. I thought tux was a good idea just because it's so simple.
Yeah.
And it'll look good. And it's, or I'll just wear a suit that I wear to the party.
What about you, Sal?
Whatever's called for. If it's a tux, it's a tux. I personally like a tux with what they call a tuxedo tie.
Yeah, that's what the guy was sort of talking about.
Yeah, it looks like a regular tie, like your traditional tie, but it's a tuxedo one. It's a little shorter, and I think that looks really classy. So it's like he said, it's not so formal, but it's classy and semi-formal. It's not semi as well. It's in between, I guess.
All right, we'll all be well dressed for the party. That's
John,
for
will
sure.
you be wearing a Pittsburgh T-shirt?
I'll be wearing my Pittsburgh Penguin tuxedo. No, I'll be wearing a tuxedo.
We should take pictures in black and white too, because that makes it look so formal.
You know what used to bother me? I think Gary brought this up. Jack used to wear tuxedos with sneakers.
Yes.
What's that move?
I know exactly where that came from. The first person I ever saw do that, Paul McCartney, did that at the Grammys in the 70s. And I think Jackie really thought that looked cool.
Yet another thing bringing Jackie closer to McCartney when you think about that.
Yeah, we do. We have the same sense of humor.
But Paul McCartney can pull that off. Paul McCartney can pull off anything.
Well, first of all, he pulled it off because no one had done it before.
Yeah.
So that seemed really cool.
All right, Al, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about Sal's health regimen. I do want to talk about Wolf of Wall Street a little bit with you, Sal. Plus, we'll talk about what's going on with the social media. We'll talk about what Howard had to say today, because that's what we do on the wrap-up show, which you're listening to on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
The Wrap-Up Show.
Hi, this is Sharon Osbourne, and you're listening to The Wrap-Up Show with John Hein. Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. Oh. Hi, this is Sharon Osbourne, and you're listening to The Wrap-Up Show with John Hein and Gary Delabate.
Welcome back to the Wrap-Up Show, 888-STERN-100. Call us to talk about today's show. John, Gary, Benji, Sal, Jason now joining us. As we move over, before we get to your health regimen, although that bag of vitamins is enormous. I mean,
it's only enormous because it's a lot of vitamins that I'm keeping over the course of 3 weeks.
Why don't you just keep them in the things they come in?
That's at home for nighttime.
Oh, so you bought bulk.
I bought bulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You should get one of those. I actually bought Gary. Gary's
I use it.
Yeah, Gary's over 50 now. He takes a lot of pills. So I bought him one of those, old
The
man
pill boxes?
Pill
I
boxes.
wanted
Monday,
that.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
They're $2.99 at CVS, but I use them because like I'm going away this weekend,
Right.
And I forget to take my pill.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I have them all blended together, so if I see dark red, I'm assuming it's cayenne. If I see white, it's
Well, it looks
scarlet.
like I'll post it. I just took it with the big camera, so I don't have it on my phone right now, but I'll post it on howardstern.com soon. But it looks like candy. I mean, it looks like a bag of candy corn and mints and
There's
all
all different colors.
Yeah.
It helps.
By the way, before we get into your health regimen and everything, we were talking about your e-cigarette for a little bit, and you were saying all these things on the air, and Jason's just sitting there. He goes, "I don't know that that's true." Like, Jason,
You're gonna sit there. It's the same stuff they put in red meat and this, and I'm like, you just spew stuff. I don't know if you know what you're talking
I'm
about.
spewing the truth. Just look up the main additive in it is propene glycanol.
Yeah, I looked up propene glycanol.
Propene glycanol.
It has been deemed relatively safe from the FDA. It is used in stuff like asthma medication, some food, but also and
it's a common additive.
But and here's the big but. You don't hit your asthma inhaler or eat red meat constantly throughout the day. I don't know, and nobody studied whether or not you constantly sucking down an e-cigarette day in, day out, week after week, if there's a long term.
I don't dispute that. Too much of anything, as we know, like Jason and mayonnaise, is just not, it's not good for you.
I know it. I can't help myself. I'm addicted.
Right.
Put the mayonnaise.
Like Howard's not telling you to stop eating mayonnaise.
Yes, he is.
But Sal, you even said it's the same thing they use in a fog machine. And again, Jason goes, "I don't know that that's true." And the other thing is, would you tell your kid to go suck on the end of a fog machine?
No. As a matter of fact, the hardest thing with my kids is they never saw me smoke real cigarettes. So when I smoke the e-cigarette, they go, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I go, "Well, Daddy's in a movie, and I have to play a smoker."
But why? I thought it was safe.
What's that?
I thought it was safe.
Well, I don't want them to know that I smoked real cigarettes because...
But you're fine with them smoking e-cigarettes?
No. I'm telling when I smoke an e-cigarette in front of my children,
right?
They said, "Dad, what are you doing?"
Right.
I don't want them to smoke. I said, "Dad's in a movie, and I have to practice this role."
Well, I think Jason's point is like if they start smoking e-cigarettes, would that worry you at all?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I want to get rid of that. But then we go up to the tobacco shop, and my son goes, "Dad, when is this movie going to happen?"
Exactly.
I was going to say,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off here.
How long have you been rehearsing for this movie?
2 years.
What are you making? You're telling me you're making War and Peace?
It's a Francis Ford Coppola flick. It takes a while.
Tell me about as a man who dies from cancer.
Oh, God forbid.
Got to give you credit, though, Sal. You're in here without the e-cigarette, so you've been, quit for a couple hours now? How you feeling?
They're charging.
Once charging, I can't wait to get on the train and puff away.
So what are you going to do in 4 months when you can't do it in here anymore?
I'm just going to basically do it like a traditional smoker would. But the thing is that, funny enough, I've been trying to cut back. I used to buy 5 boxes a week of filters. And now this week I bought 2.
You really do sound like a smoker. Yeah, I went down from I used to buy cartons a week and now 5 packs a week.
JJ, he is. I mean, the only difference is the E in the cigarette. He's a cigarette
and
smoker.
it's not cheap. It's $55 a week I'm spending on these things.
Sal, here's my big question, okay?
I'm trying to quit.
You're really trying to sort of clean yourself up and be healthy and all that. You know that this can't be good for you, ultimately. Are you saying this is your only vice and that's why you're sticking with it? Or can you tell yourself, you know what, this thing's charging to my computer. I know it's probably not so good for me. I'm just going to give that a rest and try like the nicotine gum or something else. Because like Richard said, he thinks you have an oral fixation.
I think so too. I don't think it has anything to do with nicotine. And I'm admitting that I'm definitely addicted to these things. My wife calls it a pacifier because it's constantly in my mouth.
Why don't you try it like that without the chemicals?
Well, that's one of my friends suggested. He's a doctor. He says, get sugar-free lollipops. It's the same motion.
Well, I got a question for you about the cigarette because I never smoked an e-cigarette.
Right.
So when I smoked a regular cigarette, it comes to an end.
Yes.
So does the e-cigarette ever end?
That's the thing. It doesn't come to an end. So
doesn't the cartridge run out?
What I'm saying is, if I had a cigarette, right, it would be rare to have a cigarette and then light another cigarette, have 2 back to back. That's a lot of cigarettes at once.
Okay.
So if you're constantly puffing for a half an hour at a time, it's like you're smoking nonstop.
Well, how long does one of those cartridges last? Do they last like the length of an average cigarette?
One's supposed to last a day, but I've been going through 2 a day. So I've been doubling the cartridges. So
you're a 2-pack a day.
Yeah. Yes.
Habit.
Yeah. And
wow.
but the thing, like Gary hit the nail on the head, because it doesn't go out. It eliminates the ritual of, I'm going to go downstairs, have a puff. I'm going to have a puff after this.
Or I'm going to put it out and not have a cigarette.
It was like, I don't know if you guys were drinking wine at the staff party this year, but that's what it was like with wine, because you never got to the bottom of your cup before they came and put more in. And so all of a sudden you're like, how much did I drink? I don't even remember.
Yeah, so,
I've been drinking the same glass for an hour.
Sal, Howard pretty much banned you from doing this now.
Right.
will you be
In the
able?
building.
One, will you respect that ban?
Yes.
So what are you going to do in the office? Like, what's your plan? How are you going to
I'll
handle
just take
it?
cigarette breaks. I'll just go to the bathroom. When I take a leak, I'll take a few puffs of it where no one's around. And, I'll do it when I go downstairs to get a slice of pizza down the block. That's basically like a real smoker. Whenever you have
he's trying to get you to, he's trying to get you to stop,
which is great. And you know what? I think it's good. I really, I'm happy that he's doing it.
Man, I gotta tell you.
Wait a minute. Why do you need him to tell you that?
Hey, I don't need him to tell me that.
Why don't you just quit yourself? Because we were in Florida, man. You were puffing those things like a chimney.
I know. I'm addicted to it.
But why do you need him to tell you that?
I don't need him to tell me that, but I'm glad that he's stopping me. He's preventing me for at least cutting back by not doing it here in the office.
Ron, you can't see it. Like, I don't know. There's something that you might want to change about yourself. But if it became a rule at your job, it might make it easier. Just like, okay, I have to do it.
Yeah,
right.
But
like when I'm on a plane.
If you really want to quit that bad.
No, but he doesn't.
I don't.
He's kind of like,
he
wants to, but
he was sneaking in on the plane.
Yeah, it's true. I blow it down.
Are you allowed to smoke on? I know you're allowed to bring them on planes.
They haven't said. I know you can't smoke anymore on the train, but on the plane, it's kind of iffy. I blow it between my ankles.
He was bending down below the seat.
When Sal,
all the things you can do between your
when
ankles.
Sal and I commute together, either when I'm driving or we're on the train, Sal will blow that water vapor, in my face, wherever, he tries to be respectful at some point. But every time I'm like, Sal, don't do that in the car. He goes, it's water vapor. It's water vapor. Like I don't want that water vapor in my car.
And that was the point that Jason and everybody was making. Just because Sal says it's water vapor doesn't make it water vapor.
That's what they say.
But you say it as if we should all take it and not be afraid, but everyone's afraid.
And I respect that.
Remember how many years they said that smoking was not a problem, regular smoking? Like, don't worry, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's true. Every day you see a lawyer on television over a drug that, was your son born with his dick stuck to the side of his thigh? Give us a call. There's always these side effects, and I'm worried about the side effects.
But I do think that, to side with people who smoke e-cigarettes for a second, there seems to have been no real study put into these things to say whether or not there's, I would love to, before we start banning it from every place, I would love to know whether or not there's these safe things.
And I'm a little bit more on the other side saying, before we let everybody do it, let's do a study, and then say, okay, it's safe.
Either way, I'd love to see a study.
Right, I agree.
I'd love to see a study.
Believe me, the studies have already begun. The lawyers have started the studies because they need to know who to sue.
All right, moving off the e-cigarettes for a second, I want to talk about the Wall Street stuff because when all of us had the same reaction when we saw the movie, we were thinking of you because it takes place on Long Island because that's what you did. You were a broker for a while. And I wonder, when you see that stuff, do you miss those days? Do you wish you were doing that ever again? Like, what comes to mind when you see that?
I don't miss Wall Street at all. One bit, because I'm finally doing something that I really, really love.
So you didn't like it? I got the impression you loved it.
I loved it because I was a natural salesman.
Okay.
I was working for
that is the truth.
A company for Bell South. I was selling 800 numbers, like to Chinese restaurants. Hey, you want to boost business? It'll be more noticeable if it's 1-800 fortune cookie. You know what I mean? And that's what I did for a living. My cousin worked for Jordan Belfort at the time, and he calls me up. He goes, "You're making fucking garbage there. You should become a stockbroker." So I took the Series 7 exam, I took the books, and I studied over the course of 3 months or whatever it is. During that time, that's when you saw the crash of Stratton Oakmont in the movie.
Right.
And my cousin was gone, and he went to another firm, and I became a cold caller for like a year. I was cold calling at a firm, and that's all I was doing. I wasn't trading with clients.
Where was the firm? In the city or?
It was in New York City. It was in Rockefeller
Manhattan.
Center. Yeah, Rockefeller Center.
And you worked off of a script, right?
Well, as a cold caller, you have to, yeah. Like, you call a client up and you find out they're suitable to invest in stocks. So have you ever invested in the market? How much do you have in the market? If we came back to you with a suitable idea,
people just out of the blue. So I could be sitting at home and I get this phone call going, "Hey, do you invest in the stock market?"
That's exactly
really what it is.
Jason, let me tell you something. I want to interrupt for a second. During the 90s, especially the early 90s, when the stock market was like booming, I would get calls at work every day and so aggressive. And I would say the same line to all of them. I was like, "Do I know you?" And the guy would go, "No." And I go, "Well, then why don't I just go downstairs and find the first stranger I know and hand him my money? Because we all have the same in common." Yeah. And he would say to me, "You don't want to make money. They would practically call me stupid for not wanting to invest."
The other thing you got to remember during this time is that tech bubble was insane.
Well, what happened was,
any tech stock was just enormous, and no one thought it was ever going to burst, and eventually it did. But Sal, you're the expert here.
Well, what happened was, once my cousin left that business because it was shady, when you saw all those guys go down, when Jordan said, don't talk, and the guys were covering their mouths in the movie, my cousin was the one who went forward and said everything. And by saying everything, he was looking at 7 to 10 years. So he hired an attorney, and he got off because he was completely honest and explained the whole thing. And he was kind of made a scapegoat. Like, he was honest, but, you know, according to what he says, he wasn't fully aware of what was going on behind the scenes. He knows he was getting paid.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Hold on. He knows he was trading stocks like he was told to do. But he didn't realize of the deceptive behavior behind the scenes, how much these guys were making. He got off, clean license, went to work. I got in, then the tech started. And I was taught, okay, as a salesperson, I was taught the sales, you know, how to be a salesperson when it comes to stock, but I was taught to trade real companies. I traded the tech stocks, and I traded the small caps, a few small caps, larger cap companies. I didn't do investments as far as like money management with mutual funds and bonds and whatnot. I didn't do that till later on in my career.
Did you pitch Gary and John and anybody else here?
Yes, I pitched them an IPO at the time. That would have done very well.
Every day John had a scheme.
No, hold on. I just had a fucking memory that I completely forgot about.
Yeah, you would have made $33,000 in a day.
Oh my God! Here's the thing. So this is the craziest thing. I remember exactly where it was. It was the first house I bought in Connecticut. So Sal had called me after he was tormenting me on the air. He had worked with Stuttering John and helped Stuttering John make some money. So John came to me and he said, you know, Sal's crazy, but, you know, he fucking makes money. You should invest with him. And I remember having a phone call with Sal. I called him from my house. And Sal was very normal. He's like, listen, I know I bust your balls, but I can make you money. And, you know, you got to trust me on this. And I remember hanging up the phone and just going, I can't give my money to Sal, to the Horse Jackass guy.
I don't blame you.
But do you remember that call?
Yes, absolutely. And I remember Gary the next day going on the air, and you said just that. You go, I said, what am I doing? I'm going to give money to the guy who prank calls me. It's ludicrous.
And how much would he have made?
On that one, that was an IPO. He would have made $33,000. And figured out on
IPOs, boy, that's a whole other fucking story.
Yeah,
that was the craziest shit.
Just a quick, everything I know about the stock market is from the movie Boiler Room. I haven't seen Wolf of Wall Street yet. Is it possible, because what those guys were doing were knowingly selling, like, bad stocks on purpose.
Right. Well,
is it possible for you to be selling bad stocks, not knowing that is that even possible that you could be one of those guys making the cold calls and not understand what's actually going on around you?
Yes, if a brokerage firm underwrites a company and says, hey, look, Jason, look at this, look at these numbers, and let's say all that's bullshit. It's called a red herring, which is the IPO pamphlet, so to speak,
right,
where you see the numbers and, you know, you're aware of the risk. IPOs are extremely risky. And they say to you, hey, this is a good investment. Do your due diligence, which we all had to do, and present it to your client. And let's say it does well. It does well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But what you don't know is that, let's say you buy it for your client, like in Wolf of Wall Street, and the stock is raised up. They could be shorting it behind your back. They could be investing against it. And when they tell their brokers to sell it all, because they're shorting it, they're making money. And that's exactly what they did in the Wolf of Wall Street.
And that could be happening without you, as the cold caller, knowing it.
Yes, because if I said to you, go, Jason, I think this stock is great, buy it, and it goes up, and all of a sudden it drops, and then I tell you to sell it, but the owners are shorting it behind your back, behind the broker's backs, while it's going down, then you wouldn't be aware of it. And that's what happened with my cousin, and he made me aware of this. So when I got into the business, he was dead set again. He went through the whole thing with Stratton Oakmont. So I actually I was lucky enough to learn from his mistakes. And the only transactions I did were primarily, like I said, I got involved in the tech area. I was buying Dell. I was buying Cisco systems. We were buying stocks on earnings. But it's important, too, to make sure that if you're going to trade, you trade with a client who's suitable, who has the money, and who's willing to incur the risk. That's everything.
Hold on, guys. We got to take a break. We're going to move off Wall Street. When we come back, after we ask those questions, we got to go over to Ronnie there. Howard was questioning Ronnie's sexual prowess a little bit there, and I wanted to get his take on that. Plus, the social media hatred that Howard had today, where did that come from? Lots to discuss, as always, on the Wrap-Up Show, which you're listening to on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
The Wrap-Up Show.
Hi, this is Team Mom, Farrah Abraham, and you're listening to The Wrap-Up Show with John Henn and Gary Del Abate.
Welcome back to The Wrap-Up Show, 888-STERN-100. Give us a call as we talk about today's show. Sal, Benji, Jason, and Ronnie in here with Gary and myself. And Ronnie, before we talk about your sexual prowess, What do you think of the dress code for the birthday bash? Are you okay with it being a black tie thing?
I don't give a shit. I got to wear a suit no matter what.
Yeah, but you care about fashion. I know you have certain things you like and don't like. Like, what would you like to see the women wearing, for example?
Nothing. Mini dresses. High heels, boots.
You know what I like? I like those knee-high boots. When the girls wear the skirts, those knee-high boots.
Yeah.
All right, that gives me a good segue into the next thing.
Yeah, there you go.
So Howard seems, and you tell me if you guys tell me if you think I'm off here in my perception, but he seems sort of put off by you and the stuff, when you're talking sex, the stuff that you're doing. I don't know what he has in his head. Do you think like he sees you and he sort of gets grossed out when it comes to sexual stuff because you're very upfront and blatant, really, about what you like to do?
I don't know. Seems to bother him.
Well, why do you think
he brings it up? He brings it up every once in a while. So,
but why? Why do you think it bothers him?
I don't know. Maybe he needs some lessons, and he's afraid to ask.
Yeah, that's totally it.
Yeah. Well, that could be it.
Well, Howard said that
he's always saying that he's, he just likes to get down and dirty and just stick it in, basically, doesn't he?
Well, he
doesn't he? Answer the question.
Isn't it true?
No, he talks about a lot of stuff.
He has said vagina's his favorite part.
He said,
yeah,
that's confirmed.
Hold on, he said
he's not crazy about foreplay. He said it,
Ronnie. He said today that
I like foreplay.
Ronnie,
all right.
He said
nothing wrong with eating the girls. Nothing wrong with eating the girl's asshole. She likes it.
Ronnie, can I ask you a quick question? You're big on eating ass. Have you ever gotten?
I'm not big on it.
Whatever, you enjoy it, which is fine. I think it's great.
No, it's what the girl likes, or experiment to see if a girl who never did it before would like it.
Have you ever caught a remnant or a dingleberry or a smell?
No, but I caught from a girl years ago, man. The worst smelling fucking pussy you ever wanted fucking smell.
How did you handle it?
Did you smell it like the second you unbuttoned the pants?
Yes, no, please tell us what happened.
Well, how did you handle it?
This girl had first of all, had the hairiest bush you ever want to fucking see.
That's like number one. That's the kiss of death.
And well, not if it's clean, it's okay.
But it traps all the old.
Well, hold on. What year are we in?
Stunk so bad, this girl.
1947. All right. Follow along.
I was probably 1920.
Oh, you were driving a Model T?
1937.
No, actually, I had the milk wagon with me. Okay, right. So I stopped off with the milk wagon.
Were you a hitter at this point?
Yeah. I was driving my '69 Roadrunner then.
You hook up with this girl with a hairy bush.
It was two girls.
Wow.
And another guy.
Nice.
And I told this story before. But I never said what a smelly fucking pussy she
you guys like switched or something.
We were in this motel on Queens Boulevard, and we got 2 rooms, and we were running up and down the hall.
Right.
Lisa, you might want to leave the room.
Lisa's got to do her news. So
yeah, right. Yeah. So anyway, she had this smelly, hairy pussy. All right. And we were so drunk, me and this guy, we didn't care. We just did the deed, and we kept switching.
Did you have any indication that might be, like, was she hairy anyplace else, or did it come as a complete surprise when you got down there?
It was a big surprise, because actually I knew the girl for a while, but never was involved with her that way. Mm-hmm. I was involved with the other girl, and
Benji had a good question.
Yeah, the first switch, was there any warning between the two of you guys?
Well, I was the first one.
Right.
So did you warn your buddy?
Hell no.
Wait, so let me get this straight. Your buddy
I wanted to get the hell out of that room into the other room.
Your buddy watched?
I'm not going to tell him. No, we were in separate rooms.
Okay. So, Ronnie, when you get the first wafting, are you going down on her, or you thought you were, and then you said, let me just slip it in and keep my head buried in her shoulder?
I was down on her.
Wow. You went for it.
Right from the beginning.
Wow.
He's a man.
Well, Ronnie has said he's all about what the girl wants.
Yeah. And that's what she wanted.
She wanted to do shit.
But you know what? We were drinking Mateus, I remember. Remember Mateus?
What the hell is that?
It's a wine for old people from the 60s.
Oh, fuck you, wine from old people.
Jason, if you don't know, be proud.
It was Milton Berle used to promote it.
Is it a brand?
It's a great brand.
Mateus.
Yeah.
Old people's wine. It was it was a wine of the time then.
It was a wine of the time.
The wine of the time. The time of George Burns' birth, maybe.
I was going to say, it didn't make it out of the 60s.
So, you know what? So you're a little...
couple of glasses of Mateus.
Yeah. Well, we were here was the other problem. We had we get to this motel, and we have like 3 bottles of Mateus.
Right.
We don't have a corkscrew.
Uh-oh.
Now you're in a fucking 4-hour stay motel. They don't have corkscrews.
What do you do?
So
they don't have sheets.
No, so I go out to the car and I get a screwdriver, and I take my shoe.
Classy.
Or a boot, whatever I was wearing, and I knocked it. Instead of pulling the cork out, knocked it in.
Uh-huh.
And that's how we wound up opening the bottles.
And 15 years later, Sal was peeing on guys in that hotel room.
Yeah. This guy's getting...
Oh, yeah, guys with
he's drinking girls' piss.
Now, not me. I never did that.
Yeah, okay. You're full of shit.
So wait, you
I
gotta
don't believe that for a minute.
You got a whiff. It hit you. It, like, singed your nose hairs, and you still went for it. I mean, you
went for it, tasted like shit, everything.
Why did you do it then?
Because we were guys. We were young. You don't get an opportunity to bang two girls running back and forth.
Was there a switch back then after your first experience?
Hell yeah, man.
Ronnie.
We went all night.
All right, here's my question. So, that's a great story. You've told it before without the smell part.
Yeah. It was horrible, dude. I hope she doesn't listen to the show because she'll know exactly who she is.
You ever pick a booger and when it breaks the skin, you get a whiff of the pussy ate last night?
No.
I'm on the phone with my buddy one time.
Where did that come from?
Oh, no.
Yeah, really? Come on.
I'm on the phone with my buddy one time.
Come on over here, Lisa. Stand over here.
His nickname was Gold. I'm going to leave it at that. And we're talking. We're just having a normal conversation. And he goes, ugh. I go, what? He goes, dude, I just picked a booger and I smelled the pussy I ate last night. I guess when he broke the skin there, I guess that little bit of that juice was wedged up and onto his booger.
Well, just been making a crass comment.
What the fuck happened to the show today?
I don't know.
It's like in a weird place.
Well, John he wanted to go
I have one last question, so I'm going to stop for a second because I really want to get this out there. So, because this fascinates me about you, Ron.
I know it fascinates you, John.
You're up for anything.
Because I know you're a weird guy all behind those glasses. You're one of those weird guys also.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You got me. So,
you're not walking around with that cute wife for nothing.
So, hold on. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. But
she looked great at the Christmas party, by the way.
Thank you.
Boots were hot.
Thank you. I'm glad to know you were checking out my wife.
I was.
But I'm sure you were. But you're up for anything. But you say you want to please the woman.
Right.
How do you know that she wants to go to those places that you want to go to?
There's one way to find out. You try. And if you don't try, you're not going to know.
I do have to ask you a question, Ronnie. Don't you think that with being with a woman and going straight for oral sex?
No. I don't go. You don't go straight.
No, you said with the girl.
Yeah, well, this was a whole different. Everybody was drunk.
Don't you think that's a bold move? Like you didn't go for anything before that?
Well, we made out a little bit, but
But I mean, you pull her pants off, and that's right where you go.
No, she was already naked.
Oh, okay.
She was already waiting. That she was naked already.
So can we go around the room? John Hine, do you go downtown?
Ooh.
Wait, Lisa? over there? Lisa, come on over here. I'm not going to ask you about that.
John buys all his suits below
you better get your headlines out of the way.
Jason, do you eat pussy?
You know,
because you eat everything else.
Let Lisa get her headlines out.
I've matured over the years. I used to not like it when I was younger, and I've like a fine wine. I've grown into I don't know about enjoying it, but it's certainly part of the repertoire.
But obviously your lady likes it.
Yes, she does.
Okay.
So is there a lady that doesn't like that?
Yes. Yes, there are women that don't like it.
How did you find that out?
By trying.
Maybe you weren't good at it.
Hey, listen, I have had no complaints through the years, okay?
Right.
What do you mean?
All right.
You said that she didn't like it.
She's not into it.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't into it.
I've never seen Ronnie have sex, but I have seen him with...
I feel like I have.
But I have seen him with women. And he's... One of the things I think it's a charming, good quality of Ronnie is he's very direct with what he likes and finding out what they like.
Agreed.
I'm talking about outside of the bedroom. So my guess is that Ronnie's a very communicative lover, if you will.
Here's how it goes down, Jason,
right.
Pretty much, okay? And I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm taking notes.
You start, like when I taken Lisa to the Trump Hotel and getting, naked and into the bathrobe and having a nice dinner and the whole thing. You have to woo him, man, a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like with pills and booze?
No pills. No pills.
I got it wrong.
No pills.
How much time are you spending wooing?
Could be all night. You never know.
Okay. So after the wooing, how do you make the transition into something more than woo?
Then there's a few drinks, which loosens him up. And then you get into little conversations, or like the porno movie thing. You put on a little porno. You don't have to go XXX right away.
Right.
You do like Playboy Channel shit.
Mm-hmm.
Still a bold move for somebody,
Yeah. But
have you ever been shut down right there?
No.
Never.
Absolutely no. With that, no.
And that's when Pamela Smart climbs out the window.
But you go for it, and you do it. You do it the right way. You don't do it like an animal.
But
like Sal talks about how he wants to do shit to girls, and it sounds gross and disgusting.
I talk about my personal fetishes, but I admire Ronnie because here's my take on this: women are generally inhibited, and they want to do these things.
They want shit just as much as you do.
And I think by Ronnie just cutting to the chase and addressing it immediately, I think it takes a lot of the pressure.
He's not doing that.
No,
but you work into it. You work into it. It's not like you don't take 3 days. You work into it on the session when you know you're going to have sex with this girl. You know where you want to go with it.
Like, Ronnie keeps moving and grooving. Remember when you dated a chick and like you were so scared to kiss her? Ronnie's going to go right for that kiss. And right from that kiss, he's going to go right for the shirt.
And
right from the shirt.
Yeah, you go for the kiss. And if she's not going to kiss you, you know you're not going anywhere else. Goodbye. I'll see you.
Ronnie's very good at making girls feel comfortable. And I think, you guys talk about a lot of the same stuff. When Ronnie talks about it, it's coming kind of out like, how am I going to make you feel good? When you say it, it's more like, I want to see a woman be violated and, for my own... But that's how it sounds to that porn that you watch.
But Jason, the genius of Ronnie is that, yes, you're 100% right. The woman, he's making the woman feel like this is what they want.
Right.
But it's what Ronnie wants.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
and ultimately,
but what it is, John, you got to spend sometimes a lot of time just doing it to the woman. You get nothing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get her so worked up, she'll bite your dick off.
Now, Ronnie, have you ever gotten to a point where you're... That's not the goal there, Ronnie.
No, I'm just saying.
Have you ever gotten to the point where the girl's in the hotel, you think it's a score, you're doing all the work, everything's going great, and she stops you and she's adamant about it, and like you're just not going to bang her or you're just not going to...
Yeah.
How do you react at that moment? Are you pretty cool? You're nasty? Do you throw her out?
No, absolutely
Smack
not.
her around?
No, actually, I keep on doing what I was doing until she stopped me.
No, right, but
and then sometimes you break her.
Uh-huh.
What?
Never mind.
Wait, hold on.
That's when the duct tape comes out.
I don't know if we want to continue this conversation.
What he's saying, when they stop you.
Right,
okay?
She's saying no more.
No more, okay, fine. Let's have a drink. Let's relax, blah, blah, blah.
You break her.
Do you put the...
Can I just say, Ronnie's talking, it sounds a lot like what happened to Patty Hearst. You know what I mean? You get them,
dude,
and you wear them down and you break them.
Well,
She wasn't tortured.
You wipe away the Gary, and then you eat them out.
So at this point, she says no. Do you go back to the soft porn? Do you... how do you work your way back in?
You start all over again.
Start with a news channel.
And a few more drinks, and,
You put on Lawrence Welk.
Right. Have you ever been with anybody and you go, you know what? This just isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Or have you ever felt that she would do it, but she doesn't really want to?
No, I would never, because you get that feeling, then you're forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. And I would never do that.
That's admirable.
We should probably get Lisa up here.
Yeah, Lisa, I'm sure you're completely turned on right now.
She's in the fetal position.
No, she's not.
I'm fascinated by this discussion.
Oh, we all
Listening
are.
to all of you.
We all are.
I love it.
What's going on with the Howard 100 News?
Well, Howard 100 News had the role of informing some of the lucky contest winners to the Howard Stern Birthday Bash, and we called them, and we recorded the conversations of telling them that they won tickets, and it's really great to hear their reaction, and people are so excited. Also, the pen-pal relationship between Ass Napkin Ed and convicted killer Jodi Arias continues. In fact, Ed is planning to ask Jodi a major question in his next correspondence to his love interest.
Interesting.
And also we'll talk to Wolfie and get his reaction to the story Howard told about Richard peeing on his hands at the Christmas party.
Yeah, we talked about that when we started here. I mean, the mic, it wasn't the right place for the mic at that event. That's not what the party was about. But did Richard go too far, actually leaning over and pissing on Wolfie and his hand? So I guess you'll find out what Wolfie has to say about that?
Yes, we will.
Very nice. Looking forward to that. All right, Al, let's wrap up this wrap-up show. Sal Governale, thank you for your time. Anything you'd like to plug, my friend?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter at Sal Governale.
Gar, what do you got?
Robert A. Bowie on Twitter.
Benji?
I'm on Twitter, Bronk, B-R-O-N-K, Bronk.
Ronnie Munn.
RM Limo Driver 69 on Twitter.
And I'm on Twitter at John Hine. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the wrap-up show, as always, on Howard 100 and Howard 101.
Play to win.
No more bullshit. This is a Howard 100 News Brief.
I'm Mike Hambrick. 24 days and counting to Howard Stern's birthday bash. Everybody wants to come. Sadly, there are limited seats available, but Stern fans can still win tickets.
Lisa G, why would you be calling me except to tell me that I can come to the party?
Do you want to go?
I do want to go.
You never know who's calling. And in Mary's case in Arizona, it was Howard 100 News telling her the good news about Howard Stern's birthday bash. You want tickets?
Oh, man, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm so excited.
Everyone knows this is the party of the decade, and the only way to get in is to win. So we kept dialing. Next up, Valerie in California.
Hello?
Hi, I'm looking for Valerie.
This is her.
You just want tickets to Howard Stern's birthday bash.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
And you can still enter to win at howardstern.com. Lisa G, Howard 100 News.
Howard 100 News. Tackling the tough questions other news outlets are too scared to ask.
When you say bad pussy, how do you characterize that?
It smelled like the Hudson River at low tide.
Convicted murderer Jody Arias continues corresponding with whackpacker Ass Napkin Ed from prison. And there is some game playing going on. Napkin reads Jody's latest correspondence.
Dear Ed, though you're not inbred, you sometimes sport a napkin wedge. You are well-read and not easily misled by propaganda that's been spread and lunacy that has been said. You go on Howard Stern instead. Then it says, a brief rhyme for you. Then Heart, Jody Arias, and we're playing tic-tac-toe, so she made her move on the tic-tac-toe.
Another Howard 100 News Brief at the top of the hour, or as close as we can get.
Howard 100.